Sports shooting stars, we bring the game to you. And tonight, Monday, we got another barn burner as Red Lion Lions travel to Northeastern to go against the Bobcats, the Lady Bobcats, that is. And right now, I got the Red Lion, Lady Lions coach, Don Dimoff, on with me. Coach, thanks for jumping on.
Absolutely, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So we have a stat guy, Carter Scappa. He always gives us a Scappa report, and I'm not sure if some of these numbers are right, Coach. Saying 29 seasons, 590 wins in the YAI which makes you the all-time winningest coach ever in that league. Coach, I really appreciate you coming in here, man. You're definitely a Hall of Famer, and
Yeah,
appreciate your time for sure.
absolutely, no problem.
So I know you won at least two district titles back, 2011, 2012.
Right.
A slew of them here in the YAIAA. You've been coach of the year a bunch of times. Last year, you had 10 wins total. This season, starting off 14-0, coach. Can you
Right.
talk a little bit about the differences between the two seasons?
Sure. I mean, honestly, cut and dry, we were just really banged up last year. I've told some, out of the 12 people I started the year with that you would consider quote unquote varsity, at one point we had more people hurt out of that 12 than actually playing. And
Wow.
it was just a really rough year with injuries. And biggest issue was we just didn't have injuries. We had people that were out for the year. And now the benefit is some of those kids got a lot of minutes last year, and now that's carrying over this year. But we played a lot of close games last year. I think out of our 12 losses, 10 of them we were in the game every single time, and we just whether it was a lack of experience or just whatever it might be, we just couldn't get over that hump. And this year, knock on wood, we've been relatively healthy. We've had bumps and bruises. But fortunately, we haven't had people have to miss any games. They've been able to play through it. So that's been good. And like I said, some of those kids that got some there were literally some kids last year that I did not expect to play a bunch of varsity that actually started a lot of the year. So
Wow.
they got some minutes. So that turned out to be very beneficial. And honestly, this year we're just taking one game at a time. Whoever's up next is who we go prepare to play, and we go from there. And so far so good. We have a tough league, we have a tough schedule, so who knows how the season will end. But we're going to prepare each game the same and go out and do the best we can.
Well, you definitely got a bullseye, on your back right now, and you got a tough week coming up here. Obviously we talked about the Lady Bobcats that's going down tonight. I know you have, I believe, a game Wednesday. Is it Dallastown?
We have Wednesday. We play Dallastown at Dallastown, and then we play York Suburban Friday evening in the Hoops for Harmony at York Votech.
Yes. So, well, talk a little bit about that mix, because I know you have a freshman Becca Sedora. Obviously, you got her sister Julia Sedora coming in at 13 points a game. Becca Sedora at 10. Sophomore Reagan Smith at 8. Talk a little bit about that mix of anywhere from the seniors down to the freshmen. It seems like you got a nice mix going on, Coach.
Yeah, we do. We start one senior, a couple juniors, and a sophomore. We have a freshman coming off the bench. We have another junior coming off the bench that gives us a ton of minutes. And what's really been cool is we've had several games this year where we've had 3-4 people in double figures. So it's difficult to key on one player. So that's been really beneficial for us. We've had a lot of kids step up a lot of different times. We have a lot of kids that can knock a shot down. So that's been good. So it's a really good mix of kids that, we have one, as I said, one girl comes off the bench, one of the best defensive players I've ever had. She gives a nice mix. Becca comes off the bench. She can do so many things. I can put her in for anywhere. I kind of told her she's kind of my Swiss Army knife because I can kind of put her in for anybody. And that's the other thing. Our players are relatively versatile. We're not the biggest team in the world, but all the kids can kind of play all the spots, and that makes it easy to kind of run stuff that everybody can do a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. Well, I know you mentioned one of the players I believe that was hurt last year is Seacrest. Is that correct?
Yes, Maddie. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's been a huge help having her back. She started last year. She's had a rough go of it, but she keeps fighting. Her freshman year, She probably missed, I'm thinking, the first half of the year. She didn't play till after Christmas. Last year, she played the first 3 games, and she tried like heck to get through it, but she had a really bad shoulder and had to get season-ending shoulder surgery. Um, and then she wasn't able to come back till literally a couple weeks before practice started. She's obviously, I kid her all the time that I want to put her in bubble wrap just to kind of keep her safe for games, but she's a huge help. She's a really high IQ player. Good defender, great passer, can knock a shot down. She's been invaluable.
That's awesome. Well, I know Carolyn Sedora, Coach Sedora, who, the mom of Becca and Julia, is one of your assistant coaches. She obviously
Yes,
played at Westchester. Can you talk about a couple of the assistant coaches that you have on the bench with you?
absolutely. Well, my daughter, Courtney, she's been my assistant for several years. She obviously was a very good player for Red Lion and at Millersville University. I have another former player, Sarah Kleinfelder, on my bench. And then I have Taylor Miller, who is a volunteer assistant, another former player. So I like Carolyn obviously has a background from playing in college, so that's nice. So we have a wide mix of people that can give a lot of different input. Jess Redknapp, she does a great job. I kind of call her my director of basketball operations. She does all the little things that sometimes I don't like to do from a paperwork standpoint, and she is invaluable at practice. And then Jake Root, who was a head coach at Kennerdale.
Yes.
He's a volunteer assistant, comes when he can and helps out when he can. So I'm a firm believer. I want to get people on my staff that can help and give me input. And I don't know everything that's going on. I want them, if they see something better. I'm the same way with the players. If the players see something better, hey, tell me, let's do it. That's always been my philosophy. I think some people think I kind of rule with an iron fist, and it couldn't be anything more from the truth. I'm all about whatever helps us win is what I want to do.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Jake. I saw him yesterday at a basketball game, and he said that really the message right now is, don't take any games for granted. And obviously the Bobcats, the Lady Bobcats, last year phenomenal. The year before, I believe they won the district or the Division II, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of what you had going on last year. Tough team, right. Just not hitting their stride quite yet. But can you tell us a couple of the keys to the game for tonight?
I've watched them. I've done some film work on them, and they're a lot better than their record. And they've got a very good point guard in Davis. They've got I believe it's Lorelei Kennedy, great shooter, can knock a shot down. Got a big that's solid. They have a little guard, Leah Himes, is solid. I hope they don't catch their stride till after they play us. So, I've told my team, we practiced this evening. I said this team's a lot better than their record. We don't want them to get healthy on us. We need to prepare, get ready to play. And our kids are pretty good about that. And I've been around the block long enough to know not to take anyone lightly. I prepare for the same, whether they're 10-0 or 0-10, I'm going to prepare the same way, and we're going to prepare our team the same way.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's going down tonight. It's going to be at Northeastern at the Bobcat Gym. Come on out. Get out there early. Support whatever team you're supporting. If you can't make it, you can watch it on Sports Shooting Stars. We bring the game to you. And I want to give a big shout out to Ray's Pit Beef. They're coming on board of one of our sponsors, Adam Boblets. He's known as well in the Red Line area like you, Coach.
Yeah. Well, he's probably, his food's awful good. So, he gets, that's a pretty good reputation. That's a great sponsor to have. And he's been great. He's helped us out last year a few times. So, and I would suggest anyone that wants to get some local advertising to check you guys out.
Thank you, Coach. Well, really appreciate your time, man, and hoping to do this again. We'll catch you out there.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sports Shooting Stars.
We bring the game to you. Contact us, sportsshootingstars@gmail.com.